Like we're both doing this and trying to learn more about ourselves. And in my sessions, I'm finding I'm going to these caves inside the earth and healing myself.
Whoa.
Session 1 with QHHT Dream Surfers Rob, he took me to a place where I was in the middle of the earth in this cave, seeing the lights, the color purple, and healing, and then going out where it's safe and sending that healing back out into the world. Like I'm experiencing that in my QHHT sessions.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's really cool to go back and listen to. Yeah.
It's incredible. Now, what did the beings look like in there?
It was just me.
Oh,
it was just me. It was this place. There was up in the sky, there was like this bright star, and I would look at the star, and I knew if I matched up the star to where I could see it shining down on the earth. That's how I found the entrance into this crystal cavern of healing in the earth. Yeah.
Wow. It's incredible.
It is. It's actually really wild to listen to, because I was like, there's no way that happened. And he's like, oh, yes, it did. I'm like, okay.
So you actually came across a lot of interesting, just from your intuition in your QHHT session with Rob, stuff that you were able to match up. And I mean, I don't know if you want to share this or not, because to me, it's just absolutely fascinating. The fact that you came across the Rembrandt matchups.
Yeah. It was really interesting because one of the very first lives he goes through and he says, okay, I want to take you to an important time in your life. And we're going to experience that, And so he's leading you to this important time in your life. And you hear me say, oh, I am in the woods. There's a cottage in the woods. And I go into detail about how he says, okay, can you look down at your body and tell me what kind of clothing you're wearing? And for a QHHT professional, that's a slimmed down version of what era are we in? According to what you're wearing, you can really tell where you're at in time. And I look down at my body and I say, I don't know. Like, I didn't know what I was wearing, but I was next to a stove. I knew that. I was next to this stove. I'm in a cottage in the woods. All of a sudden you hear me say, Rembrandt. And then it opens up this door of me having a past life with Rembrandt. And one of his very famous paintings after my session that I Googled is called Cottage in the Woods. And that was the first painting he showed me. And now our relationship is a trail, a wild, crazy adventure of little clues in paintings that he sends me. And
whoa.
I'm like learning about my past life with him as his second wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were even noticing that he was talking about specific painting techniques, which then you Googled later and realized, whoa, that totally is one of his painting techniques.
Like, if I'm not going to pay attention to history in high school, like I'm certainly not going to, pay attention to art. Mm-hmm. Like this was not my realm of learning. I did not take any interest in those things. And now here I am. I cannot get enough. I'm at the library like every day with books of Rembrandt. It looks like a 1600s crime scene investigation on my kitchen table.
Well, because you even said a specific date and you checked out that date and it matched up.
They asked me, he said, what year is it? I said, it's 1652. And when we went back, we found that 1652 was the first year that Rembrandt painted a self-portrait of himself. So that was very significant for him, okay?
Whoa.
He wanted us to recognize that. So round of applause, okay? Thank you for my man. So he then goes on to tell me more and gives me more clues throughout these sessions. As the sessions progress with Rob, I'm actually in the Rembrandt house, which is now in Amsterdam, and I've already depicted this home to a T in these sessions.
Whoa.
And the clues that he gives me through his paintings, and even the technique, he was the pioneer of this painting technique called the wet on wet method, where you do not wait for the paint to dry before you put your next set of oils over top. So in the session, you'll hear me say this very dumbed down version. I'm like, he takes the paints and he mixes them with the water, and he does this different thing. Like, he's really proud. He's doing this wet, so I'm explaining it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. So learning a whole lot about my life right now.
Are you now? I can only imagine that the things that you find that match up, in addition to your QHHT session, that just came to you, that you're noticing. Oh yes, in fact, this is a real historical thing. I can only imagine that what goes along with that too is that parallel. You might be noticing parallels between that time and what's going on in this particular life too, huh?
That's very profound. Yes, that is the deepest meaning in this whole story. Now, the way that I died in that lifetime is very similar to how I'm living my life right now.
Wow.
I witnessed the christening of my daughter Cornelia through one of my sessions, in which I'm sobbing. It's such a proud time for me. Rembrandt didn't want to marry me because he would have lost his inheritance from his first wife, Saskia.
Huh.
And so he never married me, but I had a child by him, Cornelia. And I can no longer have children. And that pain that I was crying for in that session, Spirit offered me the healing to help heal in this lifetime the pain and the heartache of not being able to have another child.
Wow, incredible.
And even the same age that we were when she died of tuberculosis, the lungs.
Whoa.
She died laying down next to a stove.
Wow.
She died, and I'm the same age now as when she died.
Wow. The parallels are...
It gets deeper. There's a painting of her completely nude, which is why I could not see what I was wearing. He painted her nude in many scenes of his paintings, and she's depicted in one of them with this ferocious hippopotamus in the background. And in one of our sessions, you hear me talk about this hippo that I see.
Whoa.
And get this, my favorite animal from the beginning of time is a hippo. I even have a stuffed hippo that I sleep with, Hippie, on my bed.
That's amazing.
I know.
It's amazing.
And that's not even all of it. I mean, we're only 2 sessions deep.
Wow. This totally, I'm just getting flashbacks of when Dolores Cannon talks about her sessions communicating with Nostradamus, and the way she'd utilized the same woman, same client to work with her to go, okay, Nostradamus, is pouring through again, and Dolores is writing down this information. It sounds to me like that's what's going on with you and Rob, which is also reminiscent of what was going on with Jane Roberts and her husband Robert Butts when they were writing the Seth Speaks material and those other books. So this is just incredible to hear.
That connection is very important to me, because I told you a little bit back in our conversation about Sylvia Brown and how she was such a mentor for me. And then Sylvia passed away, and then when that happened, Dolores Cannon became my next teacher. And I have soaked up her books, Conversations with Nostradamus, to the point where I could feel this energy bringing me closer in line with what I now know to be this experience.
You can't deny what is brought up with the commonalities between all of these people who have never met each other, that she's never told one another about.
Yes.
And here's this information that's popping through. Writing about your life with Rembrandt and all the different, and of course all the Rembrandt scholars can go, holy cow, this is amazing how this matches up here.
Yes, I'm eating it up though. I just absolutely adore the creative process. I'm being the creative in this whole thing, and it's just such an honor. Yeah, it's really cool.
It must be very, very exciting to go from the observer, reading about these kinds of things, to now being in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
This is happening to you.
Yes, and I have such an overwhelming feeling of I'm just so grateful for the experience and having all these people connected to me and to solve something and learn something. It's just fascinating. Also, the healing it's providing me in my day-to-day life now. It's just huge.